Good evening, everyone. Tonight I'm coming to you with a speech in regards to federal change of background checks for people who wish to purchase guns. And the reason for my speech today is because over the last, it's, violence has increased over the years drastically. And here in the last few years, we've experienced quite a few tragedies involving people with mental illness and issues, and they have committed atrocious crimes against people using guns. Back in 2012, there was the attack in Oklahoma, and then where one of the members of Congress, I'm sorry, I think her last name was Gifford, she was shot. She lived, but it had a huge impact on her life as well as other people who were also shot, and it affected them majorly as well. And then shortly thereafter, there was the Sandy Hook shooting, which was devastating. Um, that was December 14, 2012. Adam Lanza, he's a young 20-year-old young man. He showed up to a school in Connecticut and shot and killed 20 young kids, young children. I'm sorry, it makes me emotional just thinking about it. And six of the people that worked at the school, 60 of the adults, I think most of them were teachers. And prior to him arriving at the school, killing in the killing spree that occurred at the school, he shot and killed his mother. After he shot and killed all the children and the teachers, he killed himself. And so this brought on a huge outpour from our country because these were young, innocent kids that were going to school, and you always want to think that your child's school is safe. And for someone to come into a school to kill children as young as kindergartners and first grades, and they're just there with such innocence, and that innocence is just robbed from them. Their lives are taken and their families are destroyed. It brought upon a huge debate as to should we become stricter with our country as far as who is allowed to purchase and own guns in this country. And so Vice President Joe Biden, he took a very strong stance on this and wanted to push for universal background checks. We do have some background checks in place now. I am a gun owner. I am a licensed concealed weapons carrier. And so before I could purchase a gun, I had to get a background check. I had to go to a sheriff's department and get my fingerprints done. I had to wait to get the background check and the clearance first, and then I was able to take that clearance and go to a licensed, authorized gun gun retailer, and I was able to purchase a gun, and I purchased it for safety reasons. And that's the big debate. So what ended up happening was the NRA, the National Rifle Association, they were challenging this because they feel like that is part of our constitutional right is to be able to bear arms. And on one side, I can understand why there's that thought, but on the other side, I'm like, well, you know, when you have people who use them for all the wrong reasons, it's scary and it's dangerous, and guns getting into the hands of people who should absolutely not have them is when you get tragedies like Sandy Hook, or here recently in Detroit, January earlier 2014, a 4-year-old little girl shot her 4-year-old cousin and he died. We also have here this past month here in New Jersey, a 4-year-old little boy shot a 6-year-old and he died. And so that goes along with being responsible gun owners. You know, it makes you wonder the people who had those guns in the home, if they had those specific background checks, because many people can buy guns illegally, and I think a lot of the violence that you see is where people have guns that should not have them. But as far as the universal law goes, I think that we should have stricter background checks. We should be checking for people who have mental illness and history of violence. And there should be, I personally think that there should be a wait. It should not be you get the permit or you get the background check, then you get the permit and you are instantaneously able to go purchase a gun. I think there should be some type of hold where you need to wait after the background check and after the permit and after all of that. You should have to wait maybe 6 months before you can purchase a gun. On the reversal of that, things are so violent now. A person like myself, I work midnight, so I'm a nurse. I come and go at weird hours, and so that was one of the reasons that my husband insisted that I become a licensed carrier, was because he was worried about my safety. And obviously, we live now in a place that's very violent, and people do not regard life anymore. And so my husband was concerned about my safety. He says, look, you need to get a gun. Now, am I responsible as a gun owner? Absolutely. I have 2 small children at my home. So therefore, I am locking my gun up. My gun has safety locks on it. It's in a lockbox. It's placed far away from where my children have access to it. And my husband are the only ones who can unlock the box and take the gun lock off. So responsible ownership is one, but it starts before that with censoring who can purchase these guns. Now, of course, you're going to have illegal guns on the street. That's always going to be a factor. But I think that here lately with these type of crimes, especially like Sandy Hook, I think that that young man, Adam Lanza, was very mentally disturbed, and I don't know, no one knows his reasoning behind why he went to the school and he shot up that school with those young kids and those teachers, but he obviously has some mental issues, and there are a lot of people who have mental issues. And then that also opens up the debate how seriously we take mental health in this country. A lot of crimes and a lot of violent behavior are committed by people who have serious mental health issues. I know here in Michigan, years and years ago, when Engler was in office, there were a lot of mental institutions that were closed, and leaving those people with not much resource and not much place to go, and a lot of them ended up on the streets. A lot of them ended up homeless. And so, how seriously do we take mental health? Can our evaluation of how seriously we take mental health help avoid some of these tragedies? And I would like to present that there should be extensive background check. There should actually be maybe mental health testing performed by clinical psychologists, psychiatrists, who are, of course, employees of the state. I know for a fact that the state employs many clinical psychologists and psychiatrists, and you need to go through some type of a battery of testing for mental health as well before you are able to even apply to be able to purchase a gun. So, I think with that being said, I think that the NRA has too much pull, because for them, of course, it's a money-making business. They're looking for the business aspect. But we have to get back to the people and the humanity aspect. And what are we willing to sacrifice? Are we willing to let a money-driven industry control our safety and the safety of our children and the safety of our schools, of our streets? Or do we need to get back to humanity and really start taking care of our mentally ill citizens, our family members, our friends who are mentally ill? We ignore it, but ignoring it can have devastating outcomes. And so I plead that we need to really start taking mental health seriously, and um, um, just having stricter regulations on who and uh, who is able to purchase guns in our country and be allow access. So we have stricter access on alcohol. You have to be 21. You can't purchase alcohol if you're not 21, no ifs, ands, or probablys. And if you are caught purchasing it for someone and they're under 21, there are strict fines and you go to jail, or think cigarettes. So why not something that can instantly kill people? Why would we have stricter regulations on that? So that is my view. And thanks for your time, guys. Bye.